Lights, camera, action.
In a studio where local filmmakers talk to other filmmakers about the inside world of film.
Cut.
That's not the script. It. We'll fix it in post. Do you wonder how films are produced and what really goes on behind the scenes? Well, stand by. Filmmakers Kevin Munfrey, Victoria V.A. Jones, and Carson Hype Ferguson explain all the details. Right here on It, We Will Fix It in Post podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is another edition of F It, We Will Fix It in Post. And I have with me my friends in film, Victoria V.A. Jones, Mr. Carson Hype Man. Hype it up.
You could be hype. You be hype.
I'm going to go with Hype Ferguson. How are you doing?
I'm good. G-O-O-D.
And we've got Miss Melissa Pins It Down Smith. How are you?
Hey, I'm good.
And we have another guest with us today, well, by phone, but she is a director, editor, and she is the CEO of K. Marie Video Productions. It is my pleasure to introduce you all, Miss Kimberly Marie Lake. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I like that little introduction. All these titles, I feel important.
Hand
Thank you.
We're adding the claps here.
But you are important.
Oh, thank you.
Name it and claim it.
Yeah, I speak.
So I know you recently just left the Nashville area for Georgia. So how's the adjustment been for you?
It's been pretty, I guess, because of the whole pandemic and COVID situation. It's kind of weird coming back because we're still not out. So it's kind of like been the same as it was in Nashville because I wasn't going nowhere there either. So the adjustment's been pretty good so far. So I don't have any complaints, but I am ready to get out the house. So hopefully things start to clear on up in Georgia, and then we can get back to normal doing production. So yeah.
So you went from doing nowhere in Tennessee to doing nothing in Georgia.
Correct. So it's been a pretty easy transition. Other than picking up some freelance jobs, editing, that sort of thing. I mean, yeah, it's been a pretty straight transition, so I don't have any complaints.
So I wouldn't say she ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. Sounds like you're doing nothing. Sounds like you know.
See, but to a busy person like herself, like, doing nothing is like 12 things.
I mean, recreational wise, but
Oh, okay.
I still stay on that computer still, so that hasn't changed, I should say.
All right, we're just gonna start from the beginning with you. So, what actually got you interested in working in film?
Okay, so look, I'm going back like I'm laying on my therapist's couch. As a child, I remember like always being like fascinated with just TV programs. Just like I was like, I wondered how they worked. And I remember my mom and dad used to watch 60 Minutes, and I used to be like copying the newscasters, and it just always interested me. So by the time I got to high school, and I found out we did a tour of like a news station, and then I saw like the production side of things. I was like, oh, these are the people that run TV and like film. And from then on, literally, I had no doubt I wanted to be in television and film. So from high school and up, so when I got to college, that was my major. I didn't do all that switching 80 million majors, which nothing is wrong with that, but I just knew what I wanted to do. And I went for video production, and that was over, long time ago. So I'm still still in the business. So that's how I just got here today. So yeah.
So
it's been
was it ever a point where you wanted to be in front of the camera, or was it always behind the scenes?
I've always wanted to be behind the camera. Now, people have wanted me to be in front of the camera, like even in college, or like people like, you should like be a host to do this. But I feel like I'm a behind the camera person. So I prefer being behind the camera. But if an opportunity comes for me to be like in front of the camera, I wouldn't turn that down either. So
that's what I'm talking about. Nothing but the collar.
Keep that options open.
Yeah, I don't want to cut no options off of nothing.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Keep all the doors open.
So what was the first project you worked on?
Ooh, the first project, do you mean like give me a time frame? Like
I mean the first thing you ever worked on.
Ever put together?
Oh, that was in college. It was a short film about a blind date that the girl was crazy. It was like I wrote it. I got real like the actors in the theater department to be in my film. And you know what? I think it's on like a DV tape somewhere in my closet. But it was pretty good. Like it wasn't terrible. So that's when I knew I kind of had a little talent to do something because like the actors were.
So I got a question. So you said, is that off of experience of you being crazy?
It was just off of maybe not I have encountered some crazy people, but it was just an all-encompassing thinking about the various different stories I've heard and like putting them together along with my personal experience.
Gotcha.
And putting that in a person.
Gotcha.
So it was like that. But that was like my first project. I was actually proud of that. I got like an A on it. And I need to try to pull it out, dust it off to see if I can get it on something. But yeah, that was like my first project.
So with doing that project, do you think doing that kind of made you go out, give you more confidence in thinking I could do this as a career?
Yes, because I'm in school, I really like, some people came to class and like, not to be like, I don't want to talk about sexism or genders, but a lot of the girls or women, young women in the major, like whenever they had to learn something, a lot of times they let the dudes in the group try to figure something out or whatever. Like cameras messed up, and I always wanted to like know this stuff on my own so I could stand on my own 2 feet. So whenever I started going out and shooting or interning, I learned as much as I could. So that gave me the confidence to know I could do this, and I think it helped me go farther, in all honesty.
Okay. Well, fast forward into the project you currently have out. What made you what motivated you to do this film, Segregated Sundays?
Okay, so I was thinking about doing a project, so I was trying to just go over my head what I wanted to do. And I did come across this quote from Martin Luther King. I think I saw it online, And it was saying that Sunday at 11 a.m. is the most segregated hour in America. So I grew up in church. So when I saw that, it kind of made me stop and think. And I was like, I think that's true, like even back then, but even today. So that got my wheels turning. So I just started Googling about like race and like church or race relations. And I saw like, oh yeah, that quote still holds true today. So I wanted to get to the root of it, the history behind it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a documentary based off this quote. So that's how it all started.
A very good documentary, might I add.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Dope.
It's a labor of love.
Clap.
No, seriously, it's,
Very well done.
I'm not a bullshitter, and it was a very, very good documentary.
I am one.
Thank
and it
you.
was good.
As you get older, you start giving less of the BS.
Yeah.
For a person who's never made a documentary, I know for like a regular fictional film, you may have a script or something like that. So I'm guessing you would use more of an outline. So how did you outline your documentary?
So I think the main thing I realized with documentary filmmaking is that kind of like when you make a film, like fictional film, like you kind of have the end in mind and you work from the end to the beginning, like you know where you're going. But like documentaries, you can have an idea, but with your research or any little thing, it can like take your documentary a whole nother way. So it's almost like a living, breathing kind of story. So you make your outline. That's what I did. So I knew I wanted to look at the history, and I just did tons and tons of research for like months and months. Because with the documentary, I knew I had to be on point with the facts. Because I was like, I don't need nobody coming back talking about this wasn't true or this wasn't accurate.
Right,
so
right.
I did a whole lot of, months of research. If I found one fact, I had to find like 4 other sources that backed up that fact just to make sure like everything was factual. So that's the main thing with documentaries is the research aspect and just the story. Like you can have one idea and then like your story can go just a whole nother way. So I think that's important to keep in mind making a documentary.
So would you say that research is probably one of the most important factors in making this documentary?
I think it is the most important. Like it's just like because it has to be factual, and just having those facts down, and it just helps. It gives you more confidence too. Like when you go to interview people, like when you know what you're talking about, and you're interviewing people, it just helps everything. So just research. It took me I had almost like a year's worth of research just for the documentary. So yeah.
So all together,
it took a while.
All together, including the research, how long did it take you to put the film together from beginning to finish?
It took me like a year and like 3 months.
Oh, that ain't bad.
Yeah. From start to finish. So like this idea and research, like doing all the research, then getting the people for interviews and editing and all that stuff. So it was like maybe like a year and 3 months, year and 4 months. So it wasn't bad. Wasn't too bad.
Good. This is good, actually. I was thinking you were finna tell me like 2 years or something.
Not
like
no
that.
5, 7 years.
Because I would hear like certain, like I hear a documentary would take like, sometimes it'd be like 6 months. I think the one with on Netflix about Malcolm X, that was like 10 years.
Man, yeah. So yeah, it can range. I'm sure of that.
So like, did you have like a end date in mind when doing this?
When I started, I was on the naive side, so I was like, I can knock this out in like 5 months, get this done. And then I realized that I'm still researching at 5 months. I was like, oh, this ain't gonna get done for a little while. So in my head, I thought I could like kind of knock it out quickly. But as I started, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a process. So yeah, it's gonna take a little minute.
So when you got to the point of you being ready to shoot, so how was the process of you finding a crew? Or was it mostly you?
I actually found the crew through Mark in Nashville. I actually posted in one of the Nashville like film groups because I was looking for a crew, like estimates for crews. And like, so I got a whole bunch of inbox messages. But Mark Jackson saw that I had wrote that. And he was like, oh, I know this dude, Philip Allen. Like I worked with him on set. I'll connect you with him. And I think he'll be a good person. And he was. So he had his own like mini crew. So he was able to do like the lighting, sound, and shoot it for me. So that worked out. So yeah, that's how I got the crew aspect part of it.
So as far as like a shooting day, how many hours would you be shooting, say, per day or per interview?
So per interview, this is what I learned, that crews be having this day rate because I don't be paying. Like, I never had to pay for stuff out of pocket. So I was like, oh, so like the first time I shot, I only had like one interview, but I was paying like the whole day rate. And then I got smart, and he told me too. He was like, you want to put as much as you can in one day. So some days we shot like 8 in the morning to maybe like 8 to 5. Or 8 to almost 6, that kind of shooting day with just the interviews coming in. So I learned it real quick. Like that's my tip. If you are shooting something, do all you can in one day, as much as you can in one day, to save you some money. So yeah.
How did you know who you wanted to interview? Like how did you narrow that down?
I did a lot of Googling and reaching out to people, and really, it's just honestly, I'd be saying a little prayer for stuff. I'd be like, okay, if this ain't the right person, like, do not let them write me back or something that happened.
Right.
And literally every time, like, I would like connect with somebody, and then all of a sudden, like, it would fall through, or they couldn't shoot on it. They're like, I can't shoot. So I'm like, well, I guess you ain't supposed to be in it, because I'm all about like, that's I think awesome. Whoever's supposed to be in stuff is gonna be in stuff. So at the end, that's what happened. I think the people that are in it were great. So it ended up working out. So
I get those goosebumps every time.
Another plug, ain't
it? I swear.
I'm telling you, don't tell you what the song is.
But everybody knows.
Like, come on. Like,
I'll just send the invoices.
Come on.
Send that straight to Karsten. So
hype man over here.
So with you filming, you're also having to have 9 to 5 or regular work schedule to pay the bills. So how you kind of discuss the, I guess, kind of work-life balance and career?
So I was fortunate enough in Nashville to be a substitute teacher, and that's the main reason I picked that as my like main source of income, because it gave me flexibility. So If somebody wanted to interview on a Monday, I just went sub on that Monday, that kind of thing. So working as a sub gave me the flexibility to do the film. But on the flip side, I mean, you work with kids all day, and then you got to go shoot some on the weekend. Like, it's tiring to like work full time and do this on the side.
Most definitely.
But you know, when you love it, you know that's what drives you. So, I mean, I'd be yelling at kids one day, next day I'm taping something, yelling at kids one day, next day I'm doing a PA on the set, I'm doing something else. So, but that passion for film and video production, like that just drives me. So, I made it happen.
Yeah, that's how it all works. We all make it happen.
So did you sleep during this process at all?
Of course you didn't.
I didn't sleep much because on the weekends I would just be up either researching, writing, and I'm like, see, I'm an editor at heart, and you know, editors, we be in like a little zone. Like I can start editing at like 8, and then I'd be like, it's 4 o'clock. I haven't eaten. I've been sitting here all day. I need to go to the bathroom. So I can get real like tunnel vision. So I really was stressed making the film because I was like working and doing the film. So
that's right, because you edited the film too.
Yes, as well. So it was a whole thing. So.
I could just imagine.
So since you brought up the process of editing, my God, I'm not one of those editors.
I love it.
There's special people in this world who edit, and I am not one of them. I thought I was in college when I was doing like news packages. Is one thing a regular like news package was taking me 7 hours, and news they're like, no, we need this churned out in like an hour. So I was like, no, this ain't for me. I can't do this. Like I need all 7 of the hours. Like every one of them.
We're a special breed
with no breaks. But
I was telling somebody, it's funny when people find out you're an editor, they be like, oh, "You edit?"
Yeah,
like, okay.
and they get too
like,
excited. They get too hype.
You know what?
I don't tell nobody.
I don't know why people get excited.
I don't tell nobody
because most people don't like to edit.
Yeah.
It's
a tedious job.
Right. And I don't like to edit, but once I get into it, I understand. I get it. Because I'll sit there at the computer all day and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And it felt like I was just sitting at the computer for 2 hours.
I don't know. When I see people, like when they say they're editing, if they're not editing at all, they're excited in the sense of like they think it's like a flashy job.
I don't know about that part.
Like, wow, you're an editor? Like, you put wow in that sentence?
I mean, like, if you're doing, like, Raiders of the Lost Ark or something, if you're doing a big, but beep that out.
Plug in.
If you're doing, like, a big movie, you know, like, the one with a whole bunch of
CGI effects,
but yet
you're
gonna get the big bucks for that too. So to be honest with you, if somebody comes to the table and be like, "Yeah, we finna pay you that amount," oh, I'm gonna edit all day
with a smile on your face.
Smile.
And, like it's easier to edit when you've got like big TVs and you get to add like magic, crazy explosions and
Not
dinosaurs.
Even that. It's just I understand the editing process. So I even on my laptop, I'll sit there for hours and put something together.
See,
it's the creativity.
I understand it differently in the sense of I got to walk away from that room. Like I look at editing. I look at an editing bay, like people looked at Debo and Friday. Like, oh, okay, well, how's your chance? Oh boy!
Like when I have to edit something, like I get excited because like I'm like, ooh, I can be creative. Like it's a way of storytelling, but just another way.
I understand. So, yeah, it's all about the creativity. A real craft creator who does not like editing, because like I said, I don't like it, but I would sit in front of a computer and put something together. Because the final project
you don't cringe at editing.
Nah, the final project is going to be gorgeous. So it's kind of like, I'm putting something together that's going to be badass at the end.
And I think what kind of left a bad taste in my mouth with it is editing for news.
Oh,
but there's no there's no creativity in editing with news.
I ain't touching news.
You just got to show, look, the robbery, the dude with the handcuffs, somebody crying, and a reporter just saying, back to you, Jim.
Yeah.
You don't. Usually the stuff you see in news that you're editing, you don't want to see.
Yeah, you're right.
And you got to pick out the parts like, oh, We can't show this on television.
That's why I'd rather work a regular job than working at a news station. So weird.
Yeah, I found out I was like interning and working at a news station. I said, oh, this isn't for me. No, I don't like this at all. So no,
Over
I
with.
totally agree.
Even in college, when we had our regular
And yeah, you
student
didn't even
news-
intern. Cause usually,
news, no, because in college we had that. I got too excited because I was getting upset. Anyways,
Glad you went back.
in college, at that news station that we had and all that stuff that I had to deal with, and they were like, "This is how it is at the news stations."
Okay.
When I found that out, I said, "Oh man, no."
honestly,
Not time.
it's kind of like that. But it kind of depends on the news station.
You
But
know,
it's a good sense. But usually, with the internships, it weeds people out. Because there'll be news stations where it's a lot calmer, and that's actually the scariest part. Because I was interning at a news station, and they're playing like the police sirens, and they're like, I believe he shot her in the face, and I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like, nobody's blinking, and like one of the people there looked at the photographer and go, hey man, you probably want to go ahead and check that out. All right, let me go ahead and get this camera. And I'm
Another day's
like
work.
my nerves is all up, and I'm like, are we not supposed to be nervous right now?
but I get that they see it every day, so it's
Yeah,
kind
but
of
now
like
there are other news stations, they freak out and they just kind of running around, and it kind of like mentally it fits what happens, but it's also
Yeah.
like, do y'all know what y'all doing? So either way, it's just it makes you kind of look at the world differently.
right. It's
But-
understandable.
But the process of you editing your documentary. So did you like edit like after every interview, you would just start editing off of that interview before you got to the next one? Or did you just do like the full thing and then just edit it fully?
I actually edited fully. Like when I interviewed, I kind of knew, like in my head, I kind of kept track of like, okay, that might be good to keep in like what they were saying. So the first thing I really did was like write my script and kind of laid out my voiceover. And then once I did that, I knew like where I wanted to drop the interviews. So I did it kind of that way. I like wrote the script, and I kind of catered my interviews to what I had written, like with my outline and my script. So I could just drop it in easier. So I did it all at one time. Maybe some of the interviews I did like a rough cut of it just so I can like cut it down to what I thought I would use. But for the most part, I just sat down and did it all at one time.
So I have a question. So did you have a length in mind, or did you just let it play out?
I knew I wanted, because I was trying to model myself off of, I love Henry Louis Gates documentaries, and they be on PBS.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know his run like about 50 some minutes. So I was like, okay, I want to at least hit between like 45 and 55 minutes.
Gotcha.
I knew like that's what I wanted to do because I felt like I could tell a good story within that. And I felt like if I went over that, I would have to add another aspect to my story or something like that. So I was like a good 40 to 55 minutes. So I think my film was like 48 minutes. So I got it where I wanted
Yeah,
to be.
that's perfect.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's perfect.
So did you say you had an outline when you started editing?
I did. So the same outline I used like for my research and how I wanted the story, that's what I used for editing. So I would like go in the outline and then I'd be like, okay, this would be a good place for a quote. So I would look for a quote to match it, like that kind of thing. So I just edited by my outline as well.
So
And that helped me kind of like stay on track.
So how would you say, how important is it to have an outline when editing a project like this?
It is very important because it's so many, I think just so much information that you can like either go down the rabbit hole or you could just be going off editing somewhere, like doing something totally different with what you got. So having that outline, it kind of keeps you like on the straight and narrow of your story. And that way it just kind of keeps you focused and more efficient, I think, than trying to go off the cuff.
Did it help you with your organization? Because I know I'm a terrible organizer when it comes to like editing and stuff like that, and it bites me in my my hindquarters whenever it comes to like getting some stuff out.
Well, so what do you mean, like organize, like your files and all that stuff, or just?
Well, just like your whole whole process, whatever, did it help with the organization?
Yes, it did. So I knew this was like a bigger project, so I made extra sure like my outline was on point. Like I made sure every file was named correct, like every stock photo, every public domain image, like everything is like all in like documents. So I could have it. So yeah, it helped me with my organization big time. I think without it, I'd have been a little lost myself.
So, how many times would you say you had to go back and like re-edit the project?
This film came out like April 19th, and I was messing with it April 18th, April 19th at 12 a.m. I was like, okay, I need to stop because I kept like, you can always go back, like I'll watch it and then like, I could tweak this or that picture could stay here longer. Like I can always find something. So I had to stop. I was like, look,
just like
it's
a
fine.
true craft person, you're gonna always find
I was like,
something.
yeah, I was like, I can hold this, make this music here longer. Then I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's coming out tomorrow. Leave it alone. So yeah, I left it alone. So I was editing up till the last minute though.
So you almost have to tell yourself that it's done before it's like looking at it and feeling like it's finished.
Yeah, because I can keep tweaking. Because you can always tweak. I mean,
of course, of course,
big time.
So I was like, this is good. And what I did, I let people watch it too. So then, like, I can go off their critique, and they're like, oh no, it's straight, like it's good. So I was like, okay, I can leave it alone.
So, what people did you like have watch? Like, was it friends or family or other people that are in the field, or who would you pick?
It was actually. What I did, it was just a mixture of people. What I did to promote my film was to do like the social media, like if you like or share this post about the film, we'll put you in this like raffle. And then like I picked 10 people that like liked and shared and promoted the film on their pages to like get a pre-screening. So that's who I based like, and it was like a random group of people. Like the idea came from my friend Chris. He helped me run my social media stuff. So like, it was like a white pastor. I mean, somebody that was in production, somebody young. It was like a whole mixed bag of people. So once they started giving me their feedback, I was like, okay. And they all like, since they're all so different, when they were giving me their feedback, I was like, okay, I think we're on to something. It's pretty good. So that's the idea. I think a lot of people should do. Like when you do a film, just having a little mini screening. I see why movie, like even. I know bigger companies do this, but I think we as like independent filmmakers, like we can take after that because it really does help with the feedback. So
they do that with television shows too, with pilots. So,
so
you know, it works.
Yeah, it does.
So, like I see you got your project on, I believe, Hope TV.
Oh yes. So I've been sending it out to film festivals, and then Hope TV. They're starting in Atlanta with the House of Hope. They're starting their own, like they want to start their own streaming channel, so they're looking for content. So they're like, yeah, we'll play your film. And I was like, I'm not going to turn down nobody playing this film. I mean, you call me from Germany, you call me Australia, you can play it. So they're really helpful in promoting it and just getting different people. Like you just never know who sees your stuff when you put it out there. So I enjoy that. So that was my first, little putting it out there. So hopefully, PBS, hint, or, anybody else, pick it on up one day.
You never know.
That'd be nice.
And I quote went to film and straight to Hope TV.
Hey, I do have a question that's like kind of related to editing, but not necessarily to your film.
Okay.
So, do you consider yourself a introvert? Because most editors I know are super introverts and they're super awkward, and they really don't like a lot of people. Like,
like I am an introvert, but I have people skills. Like there's some introverts that are like awkward.
You know how to
you're
talk
like
to
you're
people.
yeah. I'm an introvert, but I know how to like talk to people and be social with as
Yeah.
well. But like, yeah, so I do like,
Or
I
they
understand that.
gravitate towards you. People will gravitate towards you, so
Yeah.
you'll know how to
Mhm.
figure it out.
Yeah.
I,
So,
I
yeah, I ain't
totally
introvert.
understand that. I have to learn to be social,
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
it's like almost like you have like a gas meter,
Mm-hmm.
and there's something in you
Uh-huh.
that feels like check engine lights coming on.
That's me.
All right, y'all.
For
Right.
real.
Right.
'Cause I
yeah.
have-
I'm out.
Yeah, I have to have like little cues as it's time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
normally you can go, all right, y'all, I guess it's getting late. Now, 9 times out of 10, people get the hint. It's always
Yeah.
be that one person that
Always.
go, yeah, it is late,
Always.
man. 11 o'clock's a crazy time.
But you gotta
But
you
Yeah.
gotta
let me
figure it
keep on
out.
going. Let me keep
You
on
gotta
going.
figure out how
Let me
to
add no.
slick do it. Some people are different, so
Some
you gotta
people are
figure it
great
out.
at
We'll
it.
follow you to the
You
car.
do.
Right.
I have,
So they will drain you. You be like, okay, bye. I got
Yes.
to go.
that's like, and this person's actually an editor that I know. She knows how to like leave the conversation without you knowing she left.
Oh, she's good.
Lessons.
Oh, she's amazing.
Oh,
How did you do that?
She's good. Because she's an editor. Like you have your natural pauses and all that stuff, and there's little breaks in there where you just like just get out of there.
She said something somewhat like this. She said, there's people that you pay attention to more than others.
Mm-hmm.
So when the person you really kind of pay attention to starts talking, I take 2 steps back. Then when it goes back, and it goes back to that dominant talker, take another 2 steps back. And then next thing you know, you in the car and they still talking.
She's like,
So
My goodness.
I'm definitely an introvert, but as I've gotten older, I've learned how to trick people.
you say, look, I didn't think you was no introvert, so you tricked me.
I know I've gotten much better at it.
Kevin is.
I'm like I'm really not an introvert whatsoever.
Oh, I know you're not.
Hey,
Oh,
but,
we-
Oh,
yeah.
of course.
but
of course not.
hey, but there's times where I'm like,
But you have a check engine light too.
hey, look, I got Michael Jackson playing in the background. Leave me alone. I'm like, I'm in the
You're not
house.
subtle at all, are you?
I'm in the house. Like, I mean, there's no point. There's no point in being
That's
subtle.
true.
There's no
That's
point
the
in being
truth.
subtle.
I literally could see you going, there's no point for this communication.
No,
to continue."
I wouldn't do that unless they was just like just mad crazy. I did as a kid. I'd be like, I'm done with you now, and I walk
See you
off.
as-
I'm done with you now, and I walk off.
I
And
can
then-
see you saying that.
And then people be like, you can't do that. was
I
like,
just did.
What do you mean? I
You're
did.
like, yeah.
And they're like, no, they're trying to teach me like how to be acceptable.
I get it. I get it. But I'm more nonchalant. So it's kind of like I'll say, oh, okay. And I'll literally walk away. That's about it.
Ooh, that's like horrible, especially if a guy like tries to approach you.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You're like,
you just kind of stand there.
I did. Now, like the worst thing that I get though in them social circles is I get people emotionally throwing up on me. They want to tell me like all kinds of crazy stuff.
no.
And I'll be like,
And you just wondering, how did I get here?
Oh, I
Yeah.
was like, well, I took a left at the bakery. I'm like, wow, man, like that just happened. I'm like, and I'm still in the conversation, and I'm like, how can I get out of this?
And you look for like a break.
It's a
but
lot
like,
of a lot of you crazies. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, I can't believe
Yeah,
it.
that's
and
my
when
go-
you
Yeah.
like at the 8th, you crazy.
That's
So we still here?
Right.
And then you be like real quiet when you're not interested, and they be like, oh, you're such a good listener.
Oh yeah, I've gotten that a lot. Oh,
So like, you're great. You're great.
like man, I was thinking about the Power Rangers. Like I left this conversation 30 minutes ago.
Oh my.
My
For
feet
real.
just hasn't left yet. But Kim, why don't you tell like why do you think it was important to tell this story on your documentary?
I think it's just important with like the crazy climate we are in today, like with racism in America. I thought it was just important to tell another aspect of that story because we tell like you've heard that story told through accounts like historical accounts of people or just in the news every day. But I just felt like the church or religious aspect was a different take on it that you don't hear much, and just especially with say like Christians, like your whole basis is like loving other people, accepting other people, being kind to your brother, that kind of thing. So having racism thrive in what's supposed to be like, like almost a utopia, if you want to call it that. It was just an interesting like slant on that story for me. So that's why I thought it was important to tell.
Now, do you see yourself doing any more documentary style films?
I do. When I did this documentary, I was like, you know what? I do like doing documentaries because I like watching them, but actually doing one, I was like, I do like it, but I don't see myself doing it as my next film. I think down the road, I'll like eventually, in my my film career, I should say, I'll have a couple of documentaries under my belt. But so I wouldn't call myself a documentary filmmaker. I'm a filmmaker that makes documentaries. So.
Oh, you're a
do
filmmaker.
it all.
You're a filmmaker that makes good films.
Right?
Period.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
So would you want to, like, what other kinds of films would you want to see yourself doing?
The next film I want to do, I want to do a short film. So I'm trying to think go over my head what kind of story I want to tell, because I kind of like telling stuff a little bit different just to be different. So I do want to do a short film next. I do know it's gonna be a Black film though. I do know that. So,
Yes. Black Lives.
I just don't know what yet.
So I got a question for you. We were talking to Melissa, and as far as when you're writing a script, do you how does it come to you? Like, do you have a big imagination and it's just in your head and you just write it down on paper?
Yeah, so I just started with my outline. I don't think this is where my creative I have a very vivid imagination. So I would have a point of my outline. So I would look at it, then I just start imagining what I could say. I could kind of see visuals in my head. So
You're in our
so
club.
I'd be like,
Right.
okay.
You definitely in the club over here.
Yeah, so I'd be like, okay. And I'll just write to match that. So
Yeah.
that's my writing process. I don't consider myself a writer. I respect the craft. That's a craft in itself. So I don't consider myself a writer. But with this, I felt like I could, I could knock it out myself.
Oh yeah, that's understandable. It is writing is a craft, but at the same time, that imagination is a craft within itself. And when you can see it in your head and put it down on paper,
Right.
that's a gift within itself. A lot of people can't do that. Even some writers can't even do that.
Right.
Like I don't know how they do it because but
Look okay.
but yeah, it works in your advance when you have a good and big imagination. Not just good, but you can visual it and put it down on paper.
Yes, pull out what's in your head,
Right.
and create that.
Now, now, as you get your documentary done, for somebody who would actually do a documentary for the first time, what mistakes do you think that you made that you would tell other people to avoid?
Ooh, okay. Well, one thing about the shooting aspect of it, that's the big thing. Your just knowing your budget and knowing just knocking down your shoot days. Another mistake I made is I spent more money because I didn't say for an interview. And if I could go back again, okay, let me start here. If I could go back again, I would lock down interviews based on the day I could shoot. I kind of worked around people's schedule.
Gotcha.
But next time I did it, I would have them work around me. You can't come this day, this time. You just can't be in this film. Sorry. So I kind of that's the biggest thing I would change. I kind of work around other people, but it kind of stressed me out. So next time I'll just be I'll make a plan of what I want to do, and then people have to fit into that. So that would be my advice.
Now, did that add to the time that it took you to actually get it done?
Yeah.
Or
It added to the time because if somebody's just oh well, I have to I could do it in 2 weeks, and I would be ready. So it kind of I was at the mercy of other people. So after that was a big learning experience, learning curve for me. So I was okay, next time it's just gonna have to be my way and what I said, and then they have to fit into that.
well, you about to be big time. You about to be big time, so they're gonna have to.
Right.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
gonna have to
your
work
schedule.
around your schedule
Yeah.
Hey.
You're almost to the point where you may need an assistant.
and a publicist. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
I did learn that.
You talking
But
about
that's the
looking for
big thing I
jobs? You
learned.
maybe one putting a job out.
Right, right.
You know, you're right. You're
Like
right.
don't put my name out. Put my hint name out.
Oh, just have a generic announcement. Yeah.
Bingo,
Hopefully,
bingo.
look, anything can happen. So, yeah.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Mhm.
You've gotten pretty. You literally took a quote and made it into a film.
Yeah.
So the sky's the
Oh.
limit for you.
And because
Thank
she
you.
because she did that, like it's I remember like the writing assignment in school, making sure you had like the core subject at the top, so you always, went to that core thing.
Right.
I mean, you see a lot of stuff now be all over the place because they don't
Yeah.
have like one like overarching message.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
So, yeah. That
well,
was-
Kim, I would like to thank you for you taking time out
Well,
to
hold
talk to
on.
us. Well, you
Hold
got
on.
some? You got some?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
So, Kim,
Oh, okay.
what is your ultimate goal in this film world, life?
Good question.
Oh, my, like my ultimate goal. Like, honestly, I would love to have my own production company.
There you go.
Yes.
And I like Tyler Perry, like the way he does films and like his ownership of everything. That's what I aspire to be for myself. Like I want to own my project, and that's kind of like what I want to model myself after. So I would love to have my own production company, K Marie Productions, and putting out original content. So,
Well,
Yes,
ma'am.
you are well along your way.
oh, thank you.
Oh yes, we're definitely proud of you. And we can't wait
Yeah.
to see other projects that you do in the future.
Right.
Yeah, we collaborate. We got a little network now.
You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying?
There we go.
Either you'll be getting work from us, or we'll be getting work from you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how it works.
That's- Now, anybody else has anything they want to add?
You looking at me?
Excited.
I'm looking at all y'all.
You looking at me?
I got 4 eyes, and each one of them
I
on one.
said my piece.
Like,
Ditto.
I ain't got nothing. I'm just saying something.
I'm like, yeah, Kim, remember me?
Girl, whatever.
we always need a writer.
For real.
Hey, just whenever we go to the movie premiere, like in the future, I'll be like, yo, I'm her cousin.
Right.
Second cousin, first removed.
Right. Oh, your dad.
Oh, we starting this early.
Oh, your daddy side.
Hey, look.
On my mama's side.
Oh yeah. We talked. Look, when you make it, you get new cousins. So just
Just watch out for the new cousins, lovers you thought you
Yeah.
they were just
That part.
all your exes are
That
coming.
all your
part.
exes are coming.
Oh,
Then
them-
you know that right now.
Them, hey, big head text.
Right.
Oh, they are.
Go ahead and
Even if it was
Start
just a
blocking
fling,
numbers.
right? Even if it was just a fling, and oh no, we dated. No, you was a fling.
And you finna get some romantic DMs. You set my soul on fire.
Sir, we
I
had
can-
coffee.
Look, I can tell you firsthand. I will win like a little thing off the little McDonald's Monopoly, and somebody call me, be like, hey, remember?
You're like,
I'm trying to forget.
How'd you get my number?
Leave me alone,
Right.
man.
I forgot to delete you.
I thought I had you blocked on everything.
Man, I gotta talk to Instagram. I know I blocked you at least 3 times.
you're like,
Oh well.
yeah.
See, that's all the time we have here for F It Will Fix It in Post. Till next time, that is a wrap.
Adios.
Peace.
Yeah.